Okay, it looks like I'm live. Finally, boy, I had some strange things going on there. Now, let me just make sure that this gets shut down when this goes live. I'm assuming, yes, there it is. There it is. Okay. Wow. Boy, it was crazy. I was talking for like the past 5 minutes on video. It said that I was live, but I actually wasn't live. But so let me just allow some folks here to gather into the room. Let me know that if you can hear me okay. Give me a 5 by 5. Say yes, I can hear you, whatever you got to say. Let me know. I was told being here due to emojis. Okay, I see all of you. Just let me know that you hear me okay. 5 by 5. Good, good, good. Thank you very, very much. I know there's a really long delay, guys. I'm really sorry about that. So, wow. Whew. Gonna let some people flow in here to the room. But man, oh man, oh man. We're wrapping up this year. And I thought I would come to you on this day because, this day is all about family. So here I am with all of you. This is the family right here, right here. And that family's growing. So I have lots to talk about. Now, I just want to let you know that this is going to be a two-part show. Here, let me put this up here. It's going to be a two-part show. The reason for the two-part show is because I don't want to bore people here that are here for the message and hear what I'm going to discuss exclusively, that don't really care about a website or a community or any of those types of things. So the second portion of it is going to be an update. The first part, we're going to do a recap of 2020, just really kind of discussing what we can anticipate here in short order. Just like 2.5 years ago, I spoke in one of the videos and I said that the government has a virus coming for your mind, and really explained what was going to take place. And here we are 2 years later, and we are experiencing that. So I'm going to give a recap of that and also bring in some new pieces, some new things that I see that will also coincide with Scripture. Once you've seen it, then you'll be able to go back and go, oh my gosh, that's what that meant. But no matter how much you searched to find out what that meant beforehand, you wouldn't be able to find it until you saw it. And that's why Christ could say these things and say, you see all of these things that I told you, see that I've told you these things. So when they happen, you know that I told you. And those are the most important moments in us when we hear truth. When we hear truth, to recognize it deeply within us. Deeply. It is part of who we are. It's a truth that resonates so loudly, we feel it. And that's how you know it's true. And it's true to you. Now, the person right next to you might not have ears to hear. So, all right. So if I get out of line, I've got my own button, and I can bleep myself just in case. I'm fine. I'm good. Hey, let me say hello to some great folks here in the chat room while the room continues to fill up here. The Best Damn Podcast is here. Go check him out if you haven't. Look at his channel, The Best Damn Podcast. That's John. John is awesome. Soul's Eye Jewels. Good to see you. Katana Hunting Wolf. Nancy Smith. Sarah C. Eyes to See. I Believe. Bearded Star. A Scrub of a Watchman. Scrub, good to see you as always. Born Before This Time, number 9, Evan Prothero. Boy, they're moving pretty quick, so it's kind of hard for me to keep up. Ron, number 9, Jen for Yeshua, Yahashua, sorry. Adrian Oquist, good to see all of you. A lot of new names. I really, really love to see that. A lot of new names coming into the chat room, and I don't expect to have a huge live audience today, folks. I mean, it's, it's the sun, it's sunny, it's beautiful out. That sun, it's enjoying its birthday today, and everybody is honoring that. So, go outside, get some vitamin D, and, and have a good day. But this is where I would like to spend this day. this day with all of you and have you join here. So I don't expect many, and remember, it's the few. So before I get into this, again, I just want to say for the people just showing up into the room right now, this is a two-part show, and I'll break up those segments and I'll let you know. So I'm going to be giving website updates and also some previews of some things about what we're building, because what I'm talking about when I give this recap of 2020, I'm going to be talking about really, it's not, I don't do things like High Impact TV. He covers those things. Everybody covers the different political aspects and all of that. And, I'll tweet about them. But since we're so inundated with it, I'm not going to add anything to that unless I'm talking about the results or the impact of those things on us and the people, the impacts. Forget about the politics. Forget about what's going to happen. Forget about whether there's a coup or a plague or whatever it is. Forget about all these things. Sorry, I do have the sniffles. Oh my gosh, I've got it. Sorry, I'll try to mute when I sniff. So let me get to the brunt of this, because as I really started to contemplate, I knew that I wanted to come and talk to you today. And there's going to be much, 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 much more of this, not just live shows, but many things. So if you do want to know more about the future of this channel and the type of content that will be created, because there's going to be a lot more created, but for very specific reasons, that's the second part of this show, where I'll be updating about the website and the web properties and the social network and everything that we've been building. I've been right now, almost a couple of weeks on it, sometimes 10, 14 hours a day building. So I really, really don't like doing that anymore, but because it literally sucks everything out of me. And it's so much work, and it can be so frustrating, and particularly in today's times where I'm navigating things. But it's also refreshing for me to see what is out there and what is being built, and what properties are being built out there technologically to support folks just like you during times like this. So that's what we're putting together, because this is the real deal here. This is not a rehearsal. So the things that we're doing here have to be deliberate. They have to be purposeful. And so we're focused on that and restructuring a lot of things. But there's going to be a lot of content made, not just from myself, but also many of you. You'll see during that update later on. Sorry, chewed on ice in your ear. So to really understand the reason why I'm having this show today, and want to discuss this with you, is because I started to contemplate these things. And this year, I just, what would I say to folks? What would I say to them if they asked me what I thought of 2020? And that's, I can never answer. There isn't a, I don't have a one sentence, oh, it was okay. No, there is no such thing as that in this world right now. So let me just make sure. I've got a few notes here of things that I need to make sure that are going to be housekeeping. I just want to make sure that I've got these all ready. This is that. Got it. Okay. So the recap of 2020, I call it a recap, but this is really just a discussion about 2020. We are all aware of everything. We're all aware of what's taking place at the White House in Washington, D.C. We're aware of what's taking place with the plague, trying to use different words. We have to use different words here so this stream isn't, because they'll take this thing right off the air right away. They'll just cut me off. So in being there, very careful with that we, as I said, many people have discussed those things. But 2 years ago, like I said, I revealed that the government has discovered something that they consider a virus in your mind. And it's what allows you to connect with the Father, with your creator of all, with the all. It's what allows you to be spiritual. They isolated that and understood it to be a gene. It's a gene. Okay. So, with that said, and I'm not going to mention specific names of things, that'll be for the future website that will be launched very soon here, and I'll be discussing later on in this show in segment 2. But when I revealed that, and if you haven't, it's the government's virus for your mind. Just do a search on my channel for the government's virus for your mind. And, really if you think about this, what is the name of the virus? Obviously, it's corona. So I will say that. But what does corona mean? Obviously, it means crown. So it's the crown plague. So identifying that thing and also testing everybody, making sure that they've got it so they can justify in getting rid of it. And this is where we're going to be discussing a little bit in this, where I'll touch on mRNA during this and why that is so important and why it is important for you to understand what it is, what it does, and how it functions. And I'm not going to belabor these things because you can always do more research for yourself and find out. I'll just give you the bread and butter of it, and then you can go find it, because you can search for that and find it, but you're not going to be able to find it here in these videos. Maybe some very, very obscure channels, but unfortunately, the more subscribers you have, the more eyeballs are on you and paying attention. And, obviously, we have lots of haters, so people are always reporting this channel constantly. So think about this, that we have a global launch of a crown. Now, as many people have heard me say in the past, and I'll repeat here, if you don't understand what the crown of thorns put on Christ's head represented, it wasn't just about torturing him. In fact, it really had nothing to do with that. More to be in agitation, and yes, a little bit more pain. But when your body is in that much pain, it really shuts down those receptors to a degree. I've had tremendous pain like that. I've been beaten with an inch in my life and clubbed in the head multiple times. Trust me, your body just tends to shut down those pain receptors. So it was about putting his mind back in prison. It represented the prison of the mind that they want for you, that they create for you. It's their world. Remember, this is why specifically that Christ would change whether he said earth or world, and that why world and earth are always categorized differently. In fact, two entirely different words. They mean different things. The world is not the earth, and the earth is definitely not the world. The world is the one that is created by man. This is the apple, knowing good from evil. Now you know good from evil. You didn't before. So there wasn't good and evil until you were told that there was, and now you have a problem actually understanding what is good or evil. Not you per se, you in this room here, or you listening, but you're watching the entire world. None of them know the difference between good or evil. None of them. So that's really going to be the test going forward. Do they believe they know the difference between good or evil? Because they're fighting those battles of what they see as good or evil. But think about who that is. People would say Trump is evil. Hundreds of millions of people have said that. There's also 150 million people have said that, apparently, according to pollsters. Well, the other 150 million people say he's good and he's godlike. So, which one is right? That's the point. You won't know. Good will be called evil and evil will be called good all the time. That's where we're at. So in this, that crown getting you to think like them, making you be like them. This is our major problem in this world. This is why we're not happy. We're always trying to be who we want to be, but for somebody else, not for ourselves. We forget who we're supposed to be. Well, that got taken up advantage of by mankind and governments, and that's where we're at. They take advantage of that portion of you. This is where the kingdom has been taken by force. So these pieces of you that want to please somebody else, that wants to love somebody else, gets taken advantage of, and now it is portrayed on the entire world. You have to love the world that they create. You love their idea. You will own nothing and be happy, they say, in the future. You will rent everything you need. You will own nothing. You will not commute to work. You will not do those things. So that's where I'm going to be talking about a few things that are in the future. But what's happening right now is the destroying of the physicality of things that we've all known before, like our whole lives, the government, everything. As I've said, people will lose their mind. They are losing their mind. They're already losing their mind because what future do they have? When these things are revealed, they're destroying it for you. They're also destroying the very government that they are. They're destroying that with the party system and all of it. They need to destroy it so they can remake it. The government that they will convince us to love, not convince us, but I say people. The government that they will convince us to love will be very different than this government that is here right now. So make no mistake about it. This form of government is over globally. The investment that this group has made into this globally is staggering. The collective nature by which it's happening is overwhelming and terrifying to see for most. Not for me. It just confirms for me who the enemy is. It confirms for me who I've been telling you he is. That people have relegated the devil to this little red guy with a pitchfork and a pointy tail. He's just a little devil. Like he doesn't exist. He's far bigger, far more powerful, and far more intelligent than anybody knows. You will look upon him and say, this is the guy? Yes. So look for those days of the fallen, because it will be as in the days of Noah, and for multitudes of reasons like Noahide laws and such, and very, very different governments. But what's happening right now is people's minds are being destroyed. The very idea of school, the idea of becoming an actress and going to Broadway or anything. Think about any career, thought, choice, who they want to be. Those are dead. They have to be remade. Remade. Interesting. So once they destroy them, now you have this massive younger generation. What will they give them to replace it? What will they give them to replace it? When they say new normal, they're not joking. And when people say, no, we want the old normal, guess what? You're never getting that back. They make sure of it. This is why the normal that needs to be, if you need some kind of normalcy in your life, then you need to find out who you really are. Who you are right here. That person, the person you were meant to be. The Son of Man in you. Yeah, you, the Son of Man, you. Exclusively you for who you are, but not exclusively for us or any of us or you in that name. That's Christ's office. We get to be in it. We get to be part of it. We get to be part of that body, and that's what we're building right now. Christ is rising through all of these things. The crown, the terror that they feel when they think about the coronavirus, that terror that they feel, that fear. The fear is right. It's just for the wrong reason. It's not because the virus is going to kill them. Although expect the mutation that they release in February to kill many. To kill many. So, does that has to happen? Does it have to happen? Of course it does. Because they've set out to make it happen. We're not going to alter that. They've already done that. And this is their job. This is their goal. This is their destiny. It's like Satan going to God in the book of Job. Satan's in heaven asking God, what's your place? Where have you been? I've been on earth, going up and down, to and fro. I've been crossing the earth. Interesting. He's been crossing the earth. I've said this many times. And he said, well, have you seen my faithful servant Job? or Katana Hunting Wolf, or Freedom Grower, or I Believe, or Best Damn Podcast, or Kathy Montgomery, or Tony C, or As Above, So Beloved, Henrik, Scrub? Have you seen my faithful servants? Have you seen them, God says, to Satan? He said, yeah. Well, destroy their world. I want you to destroy their world. The whole world is Job right now. How do they react? Job's reaction is what was debated with his friends, quote, friends, not so much friends in the book of Job, but more like angels or something. But that's what's happening right now. Satan is here. Satan's sent here to do just this. So will it happen? Yes. What happens for you? How are you saved? Well, if you're looking to be saved in this flesh, that has to be the first thing you die to. How do you get out of here? How do you not repeat this? How do you get out of Satan's world? How do you get out of Satan's domain? He controls this place. So, that's only done through Christ. And here's the amazing part. These people, as I said, as their minds are fleeing from them and they've lost all their ambition or their purpose, as they've lost that purpose, they've also recognized that they made these things their God. They've made this system their God. All of it. That's why the money says, "In God we trust," right on it. It's that system. And that debt system, it's the same reason that we've been altered. We've been altered because of that. And I didn't intend to talk about this, but I'm going to. We've been altered in this way that system has created a debt society in us, a debt spirituality, a debt emotional state. When when somebody screwed us over, the reason why we don't forget, because we have something against them. That's a bank account. How many people do you know of in your life that you know have bank accounts against you? Like massive accounts that they can hold that against you at any time. See, now that's debt. When Christ died to pay our debt, that's also part of it. Because that debt, if I've gone and I've sought forgiveness for that and they still hold it against me, that's their debt. It's no longer mine. If somebody refuses to forgive you, but you earnestly sought forgiveness, you're forgiven. That's why you sought forgiveness, because you forgave yourself. And you want to relieve them of the debt that they hold against you. But no, they won't give that up. That's from this system. That's not who we are. So when I speak of going inside, finding the Son of Man in you, finding Christ inside of you, in the kingdom, where it states, where it's written, that he sits at the right hand of God in the kingdom. Where's the kingdom? The kingdom's here. It's inside of you. It's inside of you. So where do you go find him? Inside of you. Not over there, not over there. So, what was also revealed in 2020 was the corruption in these governments. In this one especially, but globally. Every government. All of them. Right down to Netanyahu in Israel. The corruption is thick and everybody knows it. Everybody. Everybody knows what's going on. They've seen the coups. I'm just sitting here reading this. Like you do a search for, let me see, look at this. I did a search just for coup against the president. And it says Trump's attempted coup is dangerous. But then the unraveling of deep state's coup against the president. So both sides accusing one another of the same thing that they're actually doing. I think Trump doesn't have a coup, except the people that are behind him most likely do. When he pardons Assange and Snowden, we'll talk. But until then, he's absolutely part of it. So, but now with all of these things taking place, you are being gaslit like crazy through the national media. Gaslit like mad. No, there's nothing happening here. As Glenn Beck said in that video that I played, he's like, there's a car on fire. And they're saying, no, there isn't. There's no corruption. The election was perfectly fine. There was nothing illegal. Nothing. There was no fraud, no corruption whatsoever. It was the most secure in history. I mean, they're just blatantly gaslighting the people because the people know better. But what's happening as a result of that? It's advancing fear and confusion at levels that is really, there isn't even a word to describe how amazing it is to see, and not in a good way. I'm amazed at what I see. And so that fear and confusion that is going to take place, and is taking place, and is going to get multitudes worse. Multitudes. Because they are going to intentionally destroy you. Intentionally, they're destroying. Let me go to this little screen right here. Let's look at this. One person went to work sick. Ensuing outbreak kills 7 in Douglas County. Now, at least they're not calling this guy a murderer. But after this, after they've shown you this, the next time it happens, they'll call him a murderer. This one, they just say, he must feel awful. He must feel awful. He killed 2 little kids. He killed 2 old people. He killed 2 medium-aged people and I guess, or 3 middle-aged people. 3 middle-aged people, a couple kids, and some old folks. It's insanity. It is insanity. And so now I'm just showing you how they're going to move folks. This is in the Daily Mail. Christmas in the grips of the Spanish flu as shops remove blackout curtains for the first time in 4 years. In 1918, war-weary Britons were left with the difficult decision over whether to see their family during the global pandemic that killed 50 million people. Well, see, the pandemic really didn't kill them. The thing that they gave them to cure the pandemic did that. The vast majority of those numbers. But look what they're doing here. They're showing you, this is the psychology of this, the psychological operations. But more importantly, what I want to show you when you're looking at this, I'm not going to go over and read this. It's ridiculous. You can go read it. Daily Mail, you see the title, Christmas in the Grips of Spanish Flu. I believe it's on Drudge Report right now as well. And but what they're doing here is they're showing you the normal living of all of these folks, and it cost them dearly. How people on that day were out, but look at that face masks back then. See, that's just like gauze. Actually, this gauze, what they would do is they would spray it with peppermint oil because that killed the virus. Let me see here. More pictures of people partying and no masks. This guy in the street has a mask, and he's apparently related to a Karen, and he's out there trying to kill the virus with whatever he's got in this old spray can here. More interesting photos about the psychological operation that took place then. It didn't stop all of these masks that they made people have, but they said, oh, it's not the masks, it was the fact. Do you see what I'm saying? They're showing you it's the fact that you're doing exactly what they did then. Now, this is for something that has a number of survival rate of 99.3 or something. So it changes by the day. But here's the hospital beds. They're showing you the whole psychological operation, like the guy on a spray canister. And now all of a sudden you got these tents, and it's gotten worse. But this is what they were confronted with Christmas. All of these, this is like, I don't know whether this is a female labor camp or whatever it is. But my point in showing this to you is the execution of this. The execution of these types of resets, which they say right to your face, by the way. World Economic Forum, all of them. All of the, Prince Charles, all of them. The only people lying to you is the media. Because the people really in charge are telling you right to your face what they're doing. But somehow, because they're not the president or a prime minister, people think that maybe that's not valid. They are the ones that run the show. The politicians are your distraction. That's for you. That's the circus and bread too, not just football games. Politics. Politics is no different than sports. No different than sports. What you think sports teams win by chance or by skill on the field? Sometimes. You think a team in the NFL wins a championship because they were the better team? Always? Trust me. I know NFL owners. I've known them. That's not how it works. They are guaranteed. They purchase those. Their investments justify because they're investing in their team and their stadiums, and those things, those investments get rewarded with Super Bowls, things like that. So here we have this situation where they've done this before. This reset is coming. So what is going to happen to us? So this is the focus that we must take. What happens to us here, folks here that are awake to this, that understand this, that are seeking Christ, that are on a journey, that have things to complete? What do we have to be concerned about ultimately? Ultimately, not a thing. As long as you are small enough, it's a narrow gate and few find it. Few. Small enough. Humility. Not having any of this world impacting you. You can dump it. It doesn't concern you. Separating yourself from the world. Christ's entire message, his entire purpose was to free you from the system, first physically, the governmental systems, and then out of it. Period. And nothing has changed. It's the same message. It's just not one the church has been talking about, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But we have a massively divided nation. And as I said, these globalists are flaunting right in front of your face. Like I said, the World Economic Forum has this incredible dystopian video, and I'm not even going to play it because that's how they'll get you. You can look at it. World Economic Forum, the future. And you're going to see, they'll say you won't own anything. So they give you that dystopian version of it. They tell you that this is a global reset. The head of the Federal Reserve tells you that this is a partial shutdown of the economy in the second quarter. He said that. It's probably a flub up. But that's the fact. So we have this going on in a divided nation, but how's it going to impact us? How do we survive? And that's what this part 2 is about. Segment 2 of this show is all about. But as they're flaunting this, the religions of the world are failing their people. I really don't want to cast all religions because there are many. But let's just say out of the 3 Abrahamic religions, I would say probably Islam hasn't changed much. However, Christianity isn't helping people right now. The church, by and large, is not helping. And when I talk about the church, I'm talking the Protestant aspect of the church, not the Roman Catholic side of it. Roman Catholic side is part of it. But that's the Christianity as a whole That's not to say that every single church and every single pastor is failing their flock. That's not the case. But very, very few, very, very few are able to hold it together because they've never understood the very scriptures that they read, and they didn't really even believe it. It was a career choice. And again, going back to what I said earlier, we become what somebody else wanted us to. You know how many people I know that went into the ministry because their family was in the ministry? No different than, well, I believe in God because my mom and dad said so. They said there's God, so I believe them because they're my mom and dad. Yeah, well, when it really hits the fan, that belief in the Father doesn't cut it. You've got to know him. You've got to know Christ. You've got to know it to be true. You have to know him. And when you know him, he'll know you, and you don't have to worry about him saying, I never knew you. So religions are failing. Food, we've got some famines coming, food shortages. Show this here. Another food shortage may be coming soon. We've got a space force. For whom and for what? What's coming? It's all part of it. But with these food shortages that are going to get increasingly worse, your appreciation for the food that you have and for the ability to eat, now you're going to understand what saying grace is all about. I'm constantly in prayer, so I'm always praying. I don't pray to be seen by people or anything. I don't do that. I actually pray privately, like he said so. And really, very rarely pray publicly. He said not to, for good reason. And there is very good reason for that. And that's about putting it into the air. The enemy can't read my heart when my thoughts come from here, in my heart. He can't read those. He definitely knows them the second they escape my mouth, or when they get orchestrated in my mind. But he doesn't know my heart. That's the secret. And as such, I try to keep that prayer quiet if I can, and not speak it into the air. He's the prince of the power of the air, including the one we're speaking over, which I love that he listens. I'm sure he's a subscriber. But this desperation that's going to come as a result of these things, because we could, again, to talk about the gravity of it, businesses are shutting down all over this country. Livelihoods are being completely decimated. There are tens of thousands of cars and food lines. People have no idea what's going to happen. And one thing that has definitely been revealed in 2020 is that the government doesn't give a rat's behind about you. Period. They never did. They create the illusion. They need you calm. They need you to believe they're good people. But sometimes they just can't help themselves. Their greed and their intention is too great to overcome. Let me see. I've got... this was going to be about MRNA, and that's another reason. MRNA. mRNA carries the instructions to your DNA that makes up who you are. So the mere fact that anybody would want to change you, going back to that virus of the mind, that they would try to inject into you mRNA that reprograms you and takes that from you. There's been many reports, not just one, started with one, now there's many, that people that have taken the jab say they can't feel God. Well, that makes perfect sense. So the reason why I'm talking about this is that the desperation that this is going to spawn in people will reveal many things more. People that you would never expect to do certain things will do them. It will justify what they bring next. It's just how it functions. They know the results. They know people better. They know you better than you think they do. And in that is going to be massive amounts of fear, and fear will reign among most people. You not being fearful. Your words will resonate with folks just because they don't have fear in them. You're going to become more obvious in that world. All of you. Those that think like this. You think it's everybody. It's not. This is a small group. This channel's just about to break, I think, 72,900 and something today. So going to break 73,000 people. That's a few. That is not many. And all we have live right now is 510. Like I said, it's the solar sun's birthday out there, and people are doing that. I'm not saying that they're not intentionally also in their hearts. Again, the intent of the heart is everything. So those that are honoring today as a family day and representing Christ's birth, I would just say that's great and that's perfect and that's wonderful. It's there is nothing wrong with it. It's I've chosen to be out of these things of the world, not in judgment, because for me, Christ was born the second that I found him inside of me. That's when he was born. And that's when he resurrected right here in me. There is a resurrection. When I died, Christ rose right here. That's how that functions. And so we must maintain that. Maintain your crown. This is the time of oil. This is the parable of the oil that the ladies had to go out. They were going to go meet the bridegroom, had oil for their lamps. And half of them had plenty of oil. They had stored it up. Half of them didn't store any up, and they were told to go buy some more, so they couldn't light their lamps. This is the time for oil. And you know how you get oil out of an olive? You squeeze it. You press it. That's what's happening. So allow that pressing to destroy the world in your mind and allow it to reveal in you. This is the great revealing. Don't worry so much about the revealing of what's taking place in the world, unless it's to reinforce what you already know inside. And I was asked about living in Christ. And for people like asked me, and they said, you add to me all the time. You add to what I say. You connect the pieces for me. You add to me all the time. How do I add to you? Well, I guess the shortest and best answer I can give is by living in those things, by walking in them. That's adding to me. The whole point of it is all of these things will be added unto you. And anything you do with that, it's automatically added unto me. What you do with what I've enabled, what I've helped find, what you do with that is what adds to me or takes from me to the others, not to me. But it does always add to me when I see and hear people walking altered, changed as a result of something that I said. It is the most humbling thing one can ever experience. But this is also the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and I've done some difficult things. So I appreciate those that add to me in that way. Get a drink of water here. My camera seems to be out of focus a lot here. This thing doesn't even have a focus. Strange. So we need to become the church now because there isn't one. So you are the church. You're going to be the church for many. For many. They're going to come to you for reprieve from what's out there because you'll be the only one that isn't terrified, isn't confused, isn't astonished. Why? Because you have a baby monitor. Boop. Told you that there's a contraction about to come. So you are aware of these things. Now, I urge anyone, and I'm not here, again, YouTube, I'm not giving medical advice, financial advice, any kind of advice. I'm simply asking questions. Would you want your DNA altered by somebody else that says that they have good intentions? They say they do. You will know them by their fruit. What are their fruits? Follow those. Now, something to look for here, because here's what's going to take place as we begin to go through these things. All of these businesses shutting down. Only big box retailers will basically be able to make it through. Maybe fast food restaurants, they're having a booming time right now. So they'll exist. Smaller ones will go out of business if they haven't already. The amount of jobless has increased exponentially. So guess what? That'll be filled. What will it be filled by? It'll be filled by the automation. Jobs are going away because everything's being automated as well. Everything. Automation. Automating warehouses for packaging. All of that. So those jobs are also going away. Forget about the businesses shutting down. Everything is being automated because of the plague. So what happens then? Walk through these things. What happens then? So many, tens of millions, no work. Smart folks, completely qualified, massive degrees, no job. Can't make money. Well, that's going to be replaced by management of technical operations so people don't ever have to go anywhere. They're going to do everything from home, just like they're already. I mean, all of the schools, everything. Universities, everything's from home. All of these systems, right now, they're really not very good, even though they prepared from a technological standpoint. All of it's there. As far as a great experience, it's not a great experience yet. It'll get better. But it's going to require a ton of management, which you can do from home conveniently. What is this doing to people? They don't want humans that want to be outside and create and love and live. They want robots. MRNA totally can do that. Just ask Elon Musk. There's a video of Elon Musk saying mRNA is incredible, man. If you want to turn a man into a butterfly, you can. No joke. So we got to change our own DNA because that's what happens. When there's power in the blood, yes, there is. There is power in the blood. You change your DNA to Christ that is within you, and your DNA will change. So I didn't want to take up a lot more time here today, but I am going to cover a couple other things. Because what we can expect out of this is a lot less community, physical community. Churches, they're really trying to wipe those things out. Churches that comply with the state and that become essentially state churches because they are within the guidelines that have been suggested rather than the guidelines that they were or the commandments that they were given. Ignore those, but follow the guidelines of the government. Those churches, they'll be around. But they'll meet differently. It's not going to be the same. And so those physical restrictions that people are going to have is going to give way to much tighter and smaller groups of folks. Really, the diaspora, the outsiders, that's us. That's us. We're the diaspora. We are the ones that will be across the river. We are the leper colony. That's where this is going. You know that. Those colonies will exist. And if they can exist virtually, that allows us to have fellowship and community and find ways to be together physically, but fellowship globally, all of us, without any kind of censorship, without any kind of fear that they can take it down or take it away, at least as long as we have some forms of communication. So closed private groups is really, really important. And those folks within those closed private groups must be of one mind and of one accord, or they'll break down the entire thing. And this is why we become the true church. Again, Christ was about freeing people from the government, freeing people from the financial systems that the Babylonian magic that money is. Currency, the whole financial system, everything. This is very, very old. If you go back and watch the second video I released about the collapse of the dollar, you'll get the details of that. So, in preparation, what I'm saying is that you and us, all of us, we must come together and become the body. YouTubers out there that can speak, that are speaking spiritually, need to collectively get together on these things, and that's what this next segment is going to be all about. So I'm going to jump to that now, and if anybody that wants to be a part of that discussion, just stick around. Because what we're doing here, as a result of the things that I'm talking about, the things that are coming, here on the property, this is a beautiful piece of property that that we've been blessed to have. And it's been a while. It's taken us a while to understand what this is going to be and how it's going to function and why. So being self-sustained, but not for masses, because there's just not that room. So what is the purpose of this place? And it is a purpose that has to be fulfilled. We have to be able to provide this community. We've got to be able to be the beacon, the light that people can come to. They can come to this place and receive rest. They can come to people. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to come here physically. But for many, when the world is gone even more mad than it is now, and more awful, and they are broken beyond recognition, and they are terrified and confused, men's hearts will fail them for fear. It'll be us. It'll be only us and others that are very, very the same. Giving religious names in between, saying somebody that's Buddhist and us is much different. That doctrine, that dogma has to go. You know the Father, I don't care what name you call him. You just agree on how amazing. And there can't be two that are that amazing. It's always the same one. It's always the same. So what we're doing is we are putting the global witness properties together. I've been coding and building sites and servers now for the past 2 weeks, sometimes 10, 14 hours a day. It's a lot of work. It's stuff I've done in the past. I had to get caught up on things because I've really tried to avoid doing it. I've tried to avoid being any part of my old life. I didn't want to relive any of that stuff. And here, let me go to this because this is going to be one of the first things I'll show you. So I started coding and building these things, and this community is the Global Witness community. I'm not going to give the URL right now because it's in motion. It's a new URL. None of you've ever visited before, so it's a new one that we obtained, and actually a few of them. And there's a number of servers. One server is a wiki server, and I'll tell you what that's for. Just like Wikipedia, except it's exclusive. It's ours. So it'll be behind the membership firewall, so to speak. So the website itself is going to be membership. It will have a free portion to the website. Now, when I say free, I mean we're going to be charging people a bunch because there's a lot more here, so follow me through. We have the VPN. So the VPN is the brunt of the costs associated with things because of the bandwidth that goes through it. We're giving the VPN for free for the members of the site. And there's a reason for that, because the VPN helps them actually connect to other portions of the site, so it's purely private. It's like an intranet, and then there's an extranet. So like a company behind the internet, privately, the private business server that has all of the stuff that would get censored, would get removed, or possibly even get you killed on the outside later on, can remain private. Now, these servers that I've been putting together, when somebody else has if some other website or somebody else on YouTube wanted to start a website, they'd start a website and they'd find a host like GoDaddy, and they would build it on there. I've built all of what we're building on servers that I've built, me. And I built, in order to not have a hosting company to host the websites, I built a hosting company that'll host our websites, or even yours, because that's what this is all going to be about. So it's quite interesting. So this global Witness Network will have the free VPN. Myself, Malia, and others, but myself and Malia will do readings of all of the scriptures with commentary. So we're going to go through. That will be a separate channel on that. That's going to be part of the membership. So daily reading of scriptures, daily studying, and daily commentary every single day. On we'll take one day off. We'll take a Sabbath once a week. I saw somebody commenting. So we're going to do that. Also, we'll have the news in a very different way. So we're going to cover the news of the world and bring those videos in as well. This site will be let's just say I found a way that I can bring content from YouTube without it being censored on YouTube, but I can use their streaming platform still to stream on our site. So I don't have to worry about YouTube taking down a private video. So videos that I need to really be able to talk about, I can do that. Plus, every single video that we have brought on to the website, listen to this, folks. So folks that needed, or remember folks that you purchased the USB with the videos on it. Well, now every single video, when you click on it, if you go through, I have all the playlists on the website, everything. When you click on the video, if you're watching it and you want to download, there's a download button. You just click download and it instantly downloads it to your hard drive or to wherever you want. So you'll be able to download every single video that we put up there. It will also be secure in multiple platforms. And if YouTube ever took a video down, it doesn't go down from the website because I've got it backed up on the website. So it replicates the video itself on the site, even though if you're streaming it, it'll pull it from the site. That's how we keep our costs down, and we'll use their bandwidth as long as we can. But I'm prepared to not have it. And I'm prepared for there not to be a BitChute or a library or any of those. I'm prepared to have our own physical address of the server that you'll still be able to get to, because they can't shut down, they could shut down public versions of the internet, but without shutting down all the IP addresses in the world, they can't shut the internet down. So there are ways, and we will have all of the instructional videos. We'll have permaculture videos and channels. So I'll be bringing other channels' content into this. This will be an aggregation of everything you need, from understanding your gardening, prepper tools, understandings, things, how you can prepare better, all of these things. This will be centralized. And more importantly, it is a massive, listen very closely, social network between you, not publicly, but between the members. And I'm going to show you some samples of that. Let me go here. So, what you're seeing on the screen right now is this is just a sample of a profile on the social site. So when you become a member, and it's going to be there's going to be a couple, there's going to be some free trials and all of the things, so you'll be able to explore what that is, but nothing's ever going to be more than $9 a month. So that's the price, and all of that goes to the bandwidth, because I've got to pay for bandwidth. And the tremendous amount of management of what I'm showing you here is, it can't be done just by me. You'll never hear from me again. I won't be able to do a video. So this property, the people that are going to be here, and anybody that would be here, would be a part of managing this, and they'll be taught to do that. So that's how we'll be able to fulfill that, and we'll still be able to have refuge, I believe, at some point as we go. But there's lots to hash out. So I'm not saying definitively about anything. We're not ready to have a bunch of people at this place yet, but we are ready to build this, and I am prepared for this. So this is what we're building. Now, again, I told you that we'll have the daily reading of the scriptures. I'll go through some of the pieces, but the private virtual gatherings also. So we will have gatherings where we will organize. I'll bring in some guest speakers and people and other YouTubers, and we'll have a whole day of things, and including cameras outside, and we'll have a community gathering on the site, because obviously traveling around the globe right now isn't so simple. And so this is really going to be, I have to basically do everything in here. You'll also be able to have your own email address. So when you're a member, you'll have an email address at the domain. I'm not giving it to you yet, though. But at that domain, you can have John or Best Damn Podcast at that domain, and you can have email. Webmail, just like Gmail. So you have your own email. Yes, I could do that. And nobody will ever read that email. I've orchestrated it that way, except you and the person you're sending it to. Let me just talk about some of the other things. This is the other thing. So, folks, if you remember when I've done some videos in the past, or shows with the past with folks around A Course in Miracles and things like that, or specific books, that we would have courses. For instance, I haven't asked him this, but I'd love for Joseph Lumpkin, who wrote this compilation of the books of Enoch that I've been reading for the past 10 years. It's one of, I consider it kind of just as important as the scriptures that I carry around. Love to have Joseph Lumpkin do some videos on there and talking about the specific passages in the book and giving you a better understanding of the books of Enoch and where they come from. All of those, we're going to have very specific things. So basically, if you don't ever want to go anywhere else, you'll be able to get the daily news about what's happening in the world. You'll get to hear what's going on all over YouTube. We'll aggregate these things. And the best part about this is, so again, this is what it looks like. This is just a version of a profile. And here's another version of a profile. Hold on here. I'm going to have to zoom that up 1 second. Here's another, actually, this is right here, this is the wall. So just like you would have on Facebook. So this is your overview, comments, things, all of your favorites. You can see everything that's on here. And this would be the wall. And just zoom that up a bit. Your user balance is 745 points. Your interactivity within the site gives you points and breaks open little things and gives you the ability to post pictures. It's added like that. We're using other people's software. We have to modify it to do this, but these folks have really, this is what I love about open source. So they've done an amazing job with this stuff, and it's allowing us to really, really go bigger with this. So I already have this going. I've already tested it all out. It works wonderful. So this is the profile. So this is a full-blown profile of what your page will look like on this site and what everybody else would see, just like Facebook or anything else. But on top of that, you'll also have access. There will be a menu up at the top here, and the menu will give you the ability then to bring up videos on the side. You'll be able to inter share within the site from YouTube into the site, And most importantly, because of the social site, when you think, remember, we'll have the global witness, video site, news, and all of that. And then the social side. This is the social network. You'll be posting on the walls and all of that just like you ordinarily do on your social network today. You'll just post things that are, well, you'll post whatever you post today. It really doesn't matter. The whole point of it being a social community of one mind, of one accord, of believers in the way that we understand and believe, this is going to be critical. And it's gorgeous. You've got all your, different, you've got your skills or whatever. If you're into music, you've got all of these ratings, your portfolios of uploaded content here. You'll be able to link in through your Google Plus or your Facebook or Instagram, not Google Plus, it's nowhere, not around anymore. Twitter, Vine, whatever you've got out there. And also Instagram, you'll be able to post videos just like this right onto your profile on our social network. Not only that, you'll have your own email, plus messaging within this. You'll even have the ability to block folks. You'll have the ability to download all of your content, all of the access and all of the same features and things that you love and enjoy with Facebook. You just hate Facebook, but you like the things that Facebook does. This does it, and I believe it does it actually nicer and better. So it's really interesting. But you'll be able to change all of the color schemes of your own profile. So you can make the back of your profile black. You can change all of these buttons, the color of this button. You can change it to be pink or yellow or green. You can change the whole scheme of your profile. Plus, you'll have all of that content. Now, this is the most important part. Let's say you've created something. You've created a meme. You've written a song. You've made a video. You've done whatever. Or you found a video. Or you wrote a blog or anything. All of those things. I've built a platform in there where you can submit those things. So you write your own article for the website, for everybody to see. The difference is you write it, you put it together, you add the video, you write whatever you're going to write, you put together the meme or whatever you want to post, what you think is going to be important for that community, and it gets submitted. And we'll have people that go through and look at it and review it. And if you're okay with that, maybe you're not that good of a writer, maybe you say, hey, you've got my general point. We'll have editors that'll help you write that, put that together and publish that, because I believe all of your words are important. All the things that you're supposed to say are important for somebody. We want to find a way for you to say that amongst these folks in a constructive way. And bring folks, I saw somebody said BP Earthwatch. BP Earthwatch is in the house. Love you much. We've also got Best Damn Podcast. Go to BP Earthwatch on YouTube if you haven't subscribed. And subscribe. Go to Best Damn Podcast. Sorry, John. Go to his YouTube channel and subscribe. All of these folks are phenomenal. Hope ENG is also here. You can go subscribe there. He's got some great content. Let me see who else here. Haven't seen. If you got any questions, now would be the time to ask, particularly about the site. So go ahead and throw those in all caps if you can into the chat. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to take up a whole lot more time. Last little screenshot here. This is when you go to your friends list, So you can kind of see what badges they have and what they've earned, and all of that stuff takes place within the site. We'll have video chat, all the same stuff that you also have on Discord. Also, folks, I'm trying to salvage the Discord server if you're already on it. And there possibly may be a way that I can bring Discord and make it part of this, but I just don't want to rely on it. And so rely on it. So as long as it would or have the potential to interfere with it and be the weak link in the chain, then I won't. But if I can make it so it's as strong as it needs to be or recreate it, I will. Just to let you know. So sorry, get a drink of water. Apologize. So, you're just going to love this. I mean, it is, I can't tell you how beautiful it is. As I started to go around and click on it and work with it, it's incredible. And this will allow us to do many things also. And keep in mind that we will be very, very transparent in how we also take care of others. So money that is raised, for instance, if we have Amazon in here as an affiliate and people use that to buy books, that money will go back into a kitty that gets shared for people in real need that are part of the membership as well. And the members can nominate them for that assistance. So again, we're just creating a little place where we can all live and love and take care of one another, even in a digital form. We can do it for 10 people around our physical existence, but how do we do this for thousands digitally right now? That's where the world's going. You're not going to want to go out there anyway. You're going to want to be able to be free as you can be. Free is truly in your mind. I've never been more free than I was in prison, as crazy as that sounds. Never been more free. One day you're going to know that very soon. You're going to know exactly how that feels. So don't want to take up much more of your time. It's 4:45.